Google Docs and Google Classroom specifically have completely changed my classroom. And it's an English classroom, so everything that we do is writing papers. And in the past, kids had to rely on their U drives, which meant they could only work on the assignments at school because they couldn't figure out how to work the VPN, or flash drives, which they would lose or wash in their pants or just misplace in school. So entire documents were lost constantly. And now with Google Classroom and Google Docs, I love it because there is no excuse. There's no, my flash drive got washed in my jeans. There's no, my sister accidentally took my flash drive, because everything is there. And I love that there's no excuses for losing material anymore. It's also really nice because I've started giving them their grades and comments online through Google Classroom, and it's great for me because I am a much faster typer than I am a writer. So it's taking me a fraction of the time to grade an essay because I can just type in my comments and the kids can respond to me in turn. We've also been using it for our peer editing, which is great because the kids can just work through the computer and then have a discussion face-to-face, which makes it a lot easier. In the past, they had to have a paper copy of their essay, which they would forget to print the day that we were supposed to do peer editing. Now they have it there, they just share it with a peer, they get their comments back, they have a quick discussion about it, and they move forward. So peer editing is also taking much less time as well.
This class, yes, but I would like to share with my what happens in satire class. One of the shortcomings of satire is students don't know everything. Neither do I. So what's great is when we have the Google Chromebook open and I make reference to Pol Pot, or I make reference to Slobodan Milosevic, and they look at me like, who are you talking about? They have the ability to look up. And the neat thing is they are collaborating with me to teach the guys. So as I am making reference to people from historical past, they can look it up on the Google Chrome, and someone will shout out, hey, Slobodan Milosevic was convicted of genocide during this Bosnian War. And the kids now learn it because they were babies when this happened. Pol Pot, most people don't know about this gentleman. So it helps. It has the students become a part of the learning process, where they are acquiring information using the Chromebooks and then sharing that information with me and with the other students. And it shows active learning happening. It was a requirement to have 3-ring binder. Now it's everything we do is accessible through the Google Classroom digital copies. You can't lose it. You can't have that problem with the flash drive, losing it. You can't have a problem with your computer. All you need to do is share it with me, and everything works out perfectly. I think that's when they, right from the beginning, they knew that their responsibility, that factor is one that's really favors me, the teacher.
I wanted to eliminate paper from my classroom for a long time. I think there's a lot of reasons why it's really beneficial. It saves me time from making copies. It saves them time from asking me for copies. And even more than that, I think it gives them, gives them that access no matter where they are. So like if they get home and say, oh, I forgot my folder, I don't have my worksheet, like that doesn't matter because everything's there online for them to use. Notes, resources, like everything they need. So when we first started using the Google Classroom for the unit that I'd planned, which was all based on the short story Flowers for Algernon, I think I introduced the unit and maybe 2 days later I said, so what do you guys think of this? Oh, it's the worst. Like it's so hard to use. I don't really like using it. By the end of it, they loved it. And so I was really nervous about, continuing forward, but I knew that they'd come around. So to hear them at the end say like, I'm so much better organized now and I really love using this, like, it was really exciting for me because my philosophy when it comes to technology is that it's only as good as what you're using it for. And so when I started using this Google Classroom, this whole technology, I didn't want it to just be so that I could say I had done it. Like I wanted it to add value to my students and what they were trying to learn and accomplish. And I really think that by the end of it, they were collaborating with documents and in ways that I hadn't even suggested. Like they were coming up with their own uses for it, which was fantastic. And it was such a big departure from the grumbles at the beginning of like, it's so, you know, it's so hard, but I knew that it was just a matter of time before they kind of adopted it as their own, and I think they did that by the end.